Well, hi there. Back in the shop. I haven't been doing many videos in the shop of late because we've been exceptionally busy. Just a couple of things I'd just like to run through, just a little bit of a heads up on a few bits and pieces. I'll just give you a quick tour of the shop in case you don't remember. There's my CNC machine. I still haven't finished it. A few little bugs to work out, a few bits and pieces to work out. Really need to get that finished as I've got work for it. There's my little hobby milling machine, which is ideal for little odds and sods. My Harrison lathe, I think I might have told you I upgraded this a while back. Quick pan around, offcut rack, steel rack, saw. Here's the plasma. As you can see, it's always busy, this one. You can look at the state of the grid underneath, the water table. Compressor's still going, although it's nagging at me for a service and what have you. Little brackets, I might have been through these in a later date as well that we've got to make up. The plasma kind of brings things off fairly clean. I wouldn't say they're super brilliant, but it's fairly clean. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but yeah, it needs tuning, and when other people use it, I don't know why, but they seem to not be as I don't know, proficient as I am. But then again, I did build it, I suppose. These have got to be drilled out, slightly bigger. If I could have got away with it, I would have definitely just plasma cut the holes. You can see the holes are pretty good. Plasma's notoriously difficult at getting good holes, but I mean, looking down through that is not bad. A little bit raggy on the back, but make that customer facing. So all that kind of works pretty well. A box pan. The shop is exceptionally dusty. We've been doing an awful lot of work of late, but and there is a big machine that I'm making for a window company. I'm making 2 of them. Something that I really have to get onto. It's late already. I hate it when things are this late, but other things have got in the way, like COVID for instance, so yeah, bit of an arse. What I wanted to show you is that we've got to make these brackets up here, and they need to be right angle brackets. Customers asked to be, you know, the tolerance is quite tight on it, and when you're welding 10mm like this, you can't bend it because he wanted nice sharp corners, so bending wasn't an option. So what I've done in the past is that I just chamfer these edges, so prep the edges, and then put it on my old right angle block here, clamp it loosely. There's the prep up through there. So you start off with it at 90 degrees. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that when you weld anything, the heat that goes into the material generally deforms it. It's physics, there's not a lot we can do about that. So what we've got to do is do what we can to combat it. So I tend to weld up the outsides first and give me a fighting chance of keeping it at right angles, because once you've welded inside here on the inside angle, you lose your ability really to restrain the steel as it warps and bends. So I tend to do it this way around. Many other people will say, why don't you do it the other way around? I don't think it matters as long as the end result's the same, my opinion. So what I've done is I've built myself a little jig here, look, just for these, and this is just to allow. Now what I want to show you is this here is a 6mm packer, and you can see that I've clamped it up nearly tight to the top here, yeah, and it's kind of, you might be able to see it, it kind of just counter strains it back one way. And that is to help the, once you weld on the inside here, once that weld's in place, it is going to pull almighty. It's going to pull it really long way. So the outside weld that would be here hasn't got the strength to stop the material from pulling in, if that makes sense. So yeah, so the art of the game, if you like, is to get it as close as possible to right angle, and then if all else fails, you use the universal spanner to try to make them as square as possible. But this one here I've just welded up. It's still pretty hot to the touch. So let's take it off. Let's take it off of the jig. You will see it's sprung up quite a bit, which is why you've got to counter restrain it. So here we go. So let's take this over to the square and just see how close we are. You can see that I've finished off the back here, and let's just see how close we are to square. This is the first one I've done, and as you can see, they're pretty good. Little bit overbent it, maybe just a little, but that's going to be well within the customer's tolerances. So I thought I'd give you that little nugget. It is important when you are welding anything to make sure that you allow for all these the movement of material. I'll do other examples of this in the future. I've found out today that I've reached 500 subscribers, so thank you very much. I really appreciate all the comments. I appreciate you clicking that subscribe and the like buttons. And the bizarre thing now that they've done dislike, is it because I'm not going to get too political about it, but is it fear of offending somebody? I used to quite like the dislike button. I used to like the fact that somebody thought they had a better way of doing it, or indeed they do have a better way of doing it. I liked people giving me constructive criticism. I've spent 35 years of my life in this industry, taking constructive criticism, of which I will always listen to. People who just want to criticize for the sake of criticism, well, you can go and do one, mate. I couldn't give two shits about that. But people who turn around and say, you know, that's all very well, but have you thought about doing it this way? It's a better way. I'll certainly listen. So there's no such thing as a bad idea, only the bloody idiot who won't listen to the ideas, really, or won't speak up. You know, it's sometimes absolute gems come out of people who you think you don't know what you're talking about, and they'll come up with this idea and you think, oh geez, why didn't I think of that? It's a perfect solution to a problem I've had for years. So yeah, I'm a bit upset that the old, you know, that the down thumb button has gone away, and now it's a dislike, and you can't see how many people. Well, you obviously you can in the YouTube creators area and all that stuff, but I used to think it was okay to dislike something, and then as long as you make a point in the comments that it is, you know, your reasons for disliking it makes sense. I just think it's fabulous. The world has gone way too hairy-fairy, and you know, you upset people by looking at them funny or just saying something that you've said all your life, and all of a sudden now you're offensive. But anyway, like I say, getting a bit political about it. Never mind, moving on. So there we go. That's the basic jig look with it all off. This is floating because you can just vary the different sizes. It is tacked to the bench. It's solidly tacked to the bench. It is exactly 90 degrees, and then this is obviously my counter strain packer. So I thought I'd give you that little gem anyway. As always, you know, if you like the video, like the content, please like and subscribe. I appreciate all the comments. I think I've answered all of the comments that have ever been left. I might not have, but I'm sure somebody will put me right on that if I haven't. But yeah, thanks again for helping me over the 500 line. I really do appreciate it, and it does spur me on. My apologies for not doing more kind of fabrication shop type stuff, but my mind is a very active one. I've done solar, I've done 3D printing, I've got a laser which I've done a few bits and bobs on. Yeah, I just want to give everybody who has got my kind of way of thinking, you know, an insight to how you start, make things work, make things not work, build stuff, create stuff. You know, that's what it's all about. It's all about creation. These videos in themselves, YouTube, it's in almost in its entirety. It's all about creating content. Whether that content is good content, bad content, whatever, it's still created. So, you know, it does take effort to do these things. It takes more effort than a lot of people realize. However, not to whine on and whinge a lot. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you very, very soon. Cheers.